Gentlemen and female gentlemen, welcome into another video. Apparently, this is the most viral story on the internet right now. I don't know almost anything about it. All I do know is the fact that everyone is freaking out, lots of people are angry, there's chaos everywhere, and I am ready to make fun of idiots, because that is what we do here. I love idiots, they give me fantastic content, and I thank God every day for the idiots that show up to give me content so that we can make fun of them. Alright, so apparently, we are finally reaching the end game. And by the end game, I mean, it turns out no one really likes the fact that it seemed like in a long time in America, there was kind of a two-tier system here, where white people are inherently evil and where black people are inherently victims in different situations. Obviously, as someone that very much approves of equality, every gets made fun of equally. I personally don't like anything about that. So anywho, I don't know what's going on here. All I know is there's a race war, and I'm not gonna say I'm here for it because people can misconstrue that into thinking that I want a race war, but I am literally here for it. Let's make some content, baby. So apparently it all started with this girl here, this Shiloh
Call him
Hendrix.
a nigger, the child? Did you call the child the nigger word? It is my own business. You call him a nigger? Okay, why don't you have the boss to say it right now again?
You nigger.
Okay.
Oh my God!
Alright, that's what you say.
She just popped off. Goddamn.
Nobody digging through your shit.
Digging through people's shit. Wait, so she was getting robbed and she called the black person robbing her the N-word? God damn, holy shit. This story is crazy. She did not back down. God damn.
A little kid just did, you dumbass.
That little kid, you call him a nigger?
Yeah.
The little child?
What did he act like one is gonna do?
Are you about to hit him? You chase him here?
He took my son's stuff.
So that gives you the right to call the child, 5-year-old, a nigger, the N-word.
If that's what he's gonna act
That's
like.
what you're gonna call him.
That's what he's gonna act like.
You know, that's a hate speech. And you can be
She did a hate speech. She did a racism.
recorded for that.
Dude, he acted like one has got to be the craziest response of all time. And a pedo is recording. Wait, the cameraman is allegedly a pedophile? Dude, this story is crazy. The layers here, brother. Oh my God. Dude, we are going all the way in, all right?
Huh. Okay, we'll see about that, what the internet has to say about you.
We'll see what the internet has to say about you. Oh my God, and then apparently she has a fundraiser where she raises like $1 million. Oh God. All right, content. It's so content time. It is so time for content. Oh my God, Lord. All right, so I just want to make this clear. Calling someone an N-word, that's like a C tier on the crime tier list. Stealing from people is B tier. So again, I personally think, why call people the N-word? That's just, that's just crazy. But God damn. When you're not admitting the fact that, oh God, what are we even gonna do here? This is crazy. Dude, and honestly, the reason why this GoFundMe worked out is because Karmelo Anthony, the black kid that stabbed somebody, got a fundraiser. I'll be real here. This is just social retaliation. Nux is gonna get canceled for that take. I mean, it happens all the time. Why not now? So Asmongold reacted to this little video. So we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna look at Sargon of Akkad breaking it down. All right. Hell yeah, dude. She shouldn't have said it to a kid. Again, 2 wrongs don't make a right in general. But to put this on the tier list, the criminal tier list, it is a C tier crime when he did a B tier crime. So realistically, I would always be more pissed at the B tier criminal than the C tier criminal. And I totally get why she would be pissed off and pop off. That said, 2 wrongs don't make a right.
So basically what happened is that a white mom called a 5-year-old black kid
Oh, fuck. Oh, God.
the N-word.
That's crazy.
And so in response to that, the internet did what it does best, and it doxed her, and it started harassing her and doing the usual stuff that everybody on the internet does. Help me protect...
Yeah, harassing people, by the way, like a mass harassment campaign, in my opinion, is insane also. Obviously, again, I stand by my my original comment of 2 wrongs don't make a right. That's my opinion. Nux, hate speech doesn't exist in America, so it's a non-crime versus a crime. Maybe my morality doesn't actually define things based on what the government considers criminal. And it's a shitty thing to do, even if it's not a crime, perhaps. That said, stealing's worse. I stand by it.
my family. My name is Shiloh, and I've been put in a very dire situation. I recently had a kid steal from my 18-month-old son's diaper bag in the park.
Piece of shit kid. You should call him something bad. That's what I would do.
Called the kid out for what he was.
Okay, that's such a bad way to phrase it. Oh, God.
Which, by the way, being that I called him the N-word. Another man who recently found out that he has a history with law enforcement proceeded to record me and follow me to my car. He then posted these videos online. My social security number has been leaked, my address.
Yeah, doxing is also a B-tier crime, in my opinion. Like, unironically, the lady that yelled N-word to random to a kid, I feel like she's... Again, not a good move in my opinion, but kind of more morally justified than everyone else in this story. Like, how did that happen?
My phone number have been given out. My family members are being attacked. My eldest child may not be going back to school.
That's
and
crazy.
There's been, I don't know really who this, who this guy is. I have no idea what's
All right, this kid is not 5 years old. I mean, I don't see him very clearly, but he's probably 10.
happened. These are the people who filmed her. So the original goal was $100,000. That was instantly shattered, and now it's up to 1 million.
Dude, this is literally social retaliation for the George Floyd riots. It is social retaliation for Karmelo Anthony getting support on the internet. It is social retaliation for every time you have a white guy doing self-defense where the aggressor is a black guy, the white guy got vilified on the internet. This is literally the pendulum swinging the other way. Again, just saying, analyzing it for what it is, this is crazy.
And this started, by the way, with Karmelo Anthony. If they had never
True! I completely agree.
done that GoFundMe for Karmelo Anthony because he was just...
And by the way, let's be clear, Karmelo Anthony murdered somebody. In my opinion, it was first-degree murder. Premeditated murder. In my opinion, that's what it was. He admitted he killed the guy, he stabbed someone in the heart at a track meet, and he became a hero. This is fucking retarded. And in my opinion, that absolutely radicalized a massive amount of white people in the country. Absolutely.
It's an innocent good boy that just got oh well. How did this jeez,
True.
why is racism making me doing this? Guys, South Park could not even come up with this. You guys know, like, I love racial jokes, but I'm not really actually much of a racist, right?
Oh, I thought you were cool, Asmonbald. God damn it.
I think this is an example of when you allow double standards in society.
Yep,
is
true.
that double standards radicalize people?
True. I can't believe America's so apartheid like that. That's crazy.
More than anything else that could ever happen. You could have the average white person watch 15 Klan meetings, 10 hours of Richard Spencer, watch Nick Fuentes on the regular, listen to Kanye West's new album, and even watch AI translated speeches from Adolf Hitler. Even all of those things
You could be a Hassan Piker tier 3 sub.
put together will not radicalize a person more than the Karmelo Anthony Official Fund.
He's completely right. He's literally 100% correct. Factual statistics is always like when you see like actual facts and reality in front of you, it is always gonna hit you much more. Literally always. People don't like statistics because people think statistics are offensive and racist. Anyone that's offended by statistics is a bit of a retard in my opinion. So, you know, that's how it happens.
This gives sense.
Like, I could give you statistics that I'm sure no one is gonna like, so I won't do it. But there are, but we're all thinking of the same ones.
To go. This would have never happened if they didn't do.
Listen, 13% of the wizards are casting 50% of the spells. You know what I'm talking about.
This Karmelo Anthony thing. I think that she's going to hit the $1 million. And if nothing else, I think she's going to get more money than Karmelo Anthony.
God damn. That's crazy. Anywho, so that's the situation. I want to see Sargon of Akkad break it down. Apparently he has 2 videos breaking this shit down because she keeps getting more and more support and people keep crashing out more and more and more. Oh my god. All right, hell yeah. Let's lock in, boys and girl. Let's see crashing out. People crashing out over a C-tier criminal making a living off calling black people the N-word. Society is so cooked. We're so cooked. We are so cooked. We are so back, but we are so cooked. Fuck.
So something very interesting has happened. In the United States. And I'm trying to think of a very delicate way of putting this.
All right, I got you. Joan of Park made herself a martyr for white people Okay, all right, too much.
But it seems, honestly, that just a lot of white people in America have just had enough of the way that they are treated and are expected to respond to ethnic minorities, in particular black people. Now, I want to be clear that I am not in any way encouraging any kind of racial abuse.
Dude, what a pussy. What? Okay, I also, by the way, want to make that clear. I'm being sarcastic and shit. Racism bad. That's my hot take. Just gonna be real here. Racism bad. That's my incredible opinion. She got paid for saying the N-word. What the fuck? But yeah, no, it absolutely is because of the double standard, for sure.
I do not agree that we should be racially abusing each other at all.
Agreed.
But
a
racial angle to this issue
of course
and
there
this
is.
story.
Obviously.
And I can't properly talk about it without acknowledging that that's the case. So this image is a still from a video that features a young lady, a young mother, called Shiloh Hendrix. Now, I'm not going to play the video because...
I totally didn't even think about that. My video is going to get obliterated.
In it, she...
Editor, censor that shit, please.
Repeatedly uses the N-word. Because an autistic 5-year-old boy apparently stole something out of her baby bag, and she, I guess, had just kind of snapped.
Yeah, obviously, in my opinion, not appropriate. All right, listen, in my opinion, not appropriate. Why escalate shit in general? You know, be the bigger person. 2 wrongs don't make a right. Shit like that. But the harassment campaign against this lady, god damn! You do realize that the only reason why people are even talking about this is because she got harassed for this story. Like, god damn.
Just kind of had it. And she started calling this boy the N-word. And this was recorded by a Somalian man who was, for some reason, loitering around the kids' park, which we'll get to in a minute. And she was just completely unrepentant. She was like, no, I said what I said. I'm not going to apologize.
God damn.
I'm basically absolutely done with the way that these things keep happening in the United States.
Oh, fuck, dude.
And I think this really resonated with a lot of people. And that, one might think, should provoke a national conversation in America about what the standards are for white people and black people.
He makes a good point. I mean, listen, when you have absolute retards in Congress constantly yapping about racial injustices and white guilt and white people are the cause of all problems and black people are constantly getting oppressed, like literally all the time. You know what? This came out 7 hours ago. This is a 7-hour-old clip from Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, all right?
I would say our country should be more fearful of white men across our country because they are actually causing most of the deaths within this country. We should be...
Not statistically. I mean, like, the crazy thing about this video is how you're still trying to turn it around and pin it on white men being so dangerous. Like, it's wild. Like, this is not helping anybody.
Profiling, monitoring, and creating policies to fight the radicalization of white men.
So she wants to institute policies and, what was that? Invading privacy? What was that? Monitoring, she said. Monitoring and policies against radical white men. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, are you actually fucking joking? Like, this is absolutely insane. This came out 7 hours ago, by the way, in case you were curious. Dude, like, oh my god, unbelievable. But anywho, when you have shit like that happening and you have politicians saying things like this, white people are so frustrated and fed up with all of this shit. And I get it. And the irony is, that's apartheid. Like, every leftist and their mother screams apartheid about literally everything on the planet. That is apartheid.
They're not the same. And we have seen repeatedly standards for black people that would never be accepted for white people and vice versa. And
True.
It's, of course, not in the white people's favor.
It is radicalizing as fuck.
And I think that I honestly think that part of the issues that people have with the black community stem from this permissiveness about letting them do things that are just otherwise unacceptable in what is supposed to be an integrated mixed-race society by liberal standards. And I think this drives a lot of white separatist thought. Because, I mean, ultimately, why wouldn't you come to the conclusion that if you're being treated by one standard, another group of people are being treated by another standard, and their standard is not only superior to your own.
Dude, the radicalization of an equivalence is so much more than you know, like a lot of people talk about like this systemic racism and stuff like that, how everyone is secretly racist behind the scenes. Nothing is radicalizing like Karmelo Anthony getting out of jail, or like obvious cases of self-defense where the white guy is defending himself. They literally vilify him forever. Like, this is insane.
Which is bad enough as it is, but it also hurts your community. You can see why people would be bothered about that, and they wouldn't want any more of this. Anyway, so the original Rooftop Korean says, yeah, fair enough, because during the LA riots, he was guarding his shop roof while black people rioted, burned down, and beat to death some white people because of Rodney King. And, like I said, this can only go on forever, for so long, and people are going to stop.
It's going to hit a breaking point, and I think the fact that this much money was raised is clear that there is finally a pushback to this entire movement.
Really, really, really getting resentful. Now, the chap who was filming was apparently an accused sex offender.
So let me get this. Oh my god, dude, and he's an immigrant. No! Oh, this story keeps getting crazier. No. Oh, fuck.
From Somalia.
No! Dude.
He was, he and someone else will...
oh, God, dude. No. And the name Muhammad, too. Oh, Lord. It's like, holy shit, bingo.
Appear in court on May the 5th after being accused of raping a 16-year-old after offering her a place to stay. Right. So, an accused paedophile is wandering around a kid's play park.
How are you more mad at the white lady for saying the N-word than the pedophile in the children's park? Like, how are your priorities so wrong?
And films this. Why is he there exactly? That strikes me as a bit weird, especially as in his defense he says, well, I didn't do anything wrong.
Oh my god, Alex Rosen ain't no way bro is getting involved. Oh god, we had him on our podcast. He's a pedophile hunter. Of course he's here.
Accused.
Oh my god.
Someone says, why did a 16-year-old accuse you of picking her up at a whatever after she ran away from home after you brought her back to her house and accused you of raping her? And he says when she went back to her foster home, she wanted to play the victim card so attention could not get into trouble. She later said that she was assaulted and admitted, presumably, that she hadn't after she ruined our lives. Now, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to take him at face value on that, because frankly, I mean...
I tend to not believe anything I see on the internet without evidence at this point. I think it's just, it's a healthy mindset.
He's not a young man. What are you doing grooming 16-year-olds? Just saying.
True, I mean... Alright, I'm gonna regret doing this, man. I am gonna regret fucking doing this. But I'll do it anyway. Fuck. Why am I like this? Alright, 18. Alright, there are exceptions. Marry at 16 or younger. Yeah. Constitution Amendment in March lowered the age of maturity to 15. Fuck. That's rough, bro.
My country, we have some experience of older foreign Muslim men who spend a lot of their time trying to pick up teenage girls, vulnerable teenage girls who are in foster homes and things like this. Hardly respectable gentlemen is the point. So anyway, why this accused sex offender is hanging around at this park is a question I don't have an answer for. But anyway...
Really, bro? Come on. You have an answer for it. You just don't want to say it. All right, listen. Okay. All right, dude. Okay. All right.
So after this, Shiloh...
I can't believe Hisoka was hanging out with Gon so much in Hunter x Hunter. That was weird. Am I right, guys?
Hendrix started a give, send, go, because she wanted to help protect her family. Because, as she says, we've been put into a dire situation. I recently had a kid steal from my 18-month-old son's diaper bag at a park. I called the kid out for what he was. Another man who recently found has a history of law enforcement proceeded to follow me and record me and follow me to my car. He then posted these videos online, which caused my family and myself great turmoil. She got doxxed. A lot of her stuff has been circulated online, apparently.
I mean, we know her name, right?
And she's got problems.
He lives in England! Of course he can't say why they're in the park. No free speech in England. No! Oh, no. Oh, he's afraid he's gonna go to prison. Fuck. I forgot about that, man. Yeah, England moment.
And so she created a fundraiser. Initially, it was for $20,000. Then it sailed past that, so then it was for $250,000. And now she's raised it to $1 million, and she's on $350,000.
Oh my God, bro's gonna hit it. She's actually gonna hit it, man.
Almost. Which is remarkable.
Yes, it is.
Because this story seems to have caught the attention of the white separatist Twitter, and they have decided that no, they are going to use this in the way that the black community uses their fundraisers.
Yeah! I mean, I don't think anyone realistically thinks she deserves $1 million for this, but we are entering an era of ranked competitive racism. All right? We've been at bronze racism. We are moving up to silver tier racism right now. White separatist Twitter exists, bro. Every type of Twitter exists. Are you kidding me?
And I think that Dissident West here is correct, that what is happening right now is basically a proxy race war.
True.
This coming so quickly after the Karmelo Anthony incident and the manifest injustice that came from that. I can see why a lot of people are angry.
Yep,
right?
Absolutely.
And again, just other Austin Metcalf.
Bro, anonymous gifter, $20. His name was Austin Metcalf. Holy fuck, man.
The lad he killed. And a lot of people are saying things like, no more white guilt, no more white shame. This is the only way forward.
Oh my God! She's at 640K right now, bro.
Why should they have to live with this kind of burden?
See, I do think that we have to stop this entire white guilt thing. Like we have to end it. The only way forward is to literally end that shit. Stop it. Enough of this. Enough of all of that garbage.
And you can see that actually a lot of it is, just self-love, right? Whether you like it or not, whether you agree with it or not, they aren't saying we hate black people. They're saying we like white people, which is quite different to what was going on Carmelo's one.
Oh, fuck.
Before we get to that, though, she's been reported to the police, even though I'm sure that what she's done in America isn't actually a crime.
Notice how he says, in America.
Because of the First Amendment. I'm reasonably sure she can say anything she likes and within reason. And it's interesting that Give Send Go decided to wipe the comments on Carmelo's one. So, for example, if you go to his, where he raised $500,000 for murdering a young lad who was white, totally unreasonable, in my opinion, like utterly barbaric, frankly.
I tend to agree.
And brutal.
I covered that already. Yeah, I tend to agree.
And the comments are all gone. You don't get to see the messages.
Wow.
Just the donors. Very interesting. Because I think a lot of people noticed that, as Callum has pointed out, Carmelo's mentioned...
Bro, what is this? Oh my God! Dude! Oh my God. We are getting to competitive racism. Oh, this will be healthy for the country. Oh, yeah.
The comments that went along with it were anti-white hatred. I mean, death to the white man. How much worse can you get? Whereas with hers, it's, good luck. I hope you're okay. The tone is so obviously different. Again, if you're upset that in less than 5 years America went from supporting George Floyd to supporting Shiloh Hendrix, You're really not going to like what comes next. Yeah, well, I mean, people...
I mean, I don't really see it that way, to be honest, personally. I don't see it as a George Floyd to Shiloh Hendrix or whatever. Personally, that's not how I see it. I think it's an entire society of people that really have no more patience for the white guilt bullshit anymore. The whole, white people need to be responsible and pay reparations and be out there and constantly need to self-flagellate themselves in public because their ancestors had slaves, like literally everyone else's ancestors did, let's be honest. Like, people just want to be done with this really cringe era of activism and Karens, and they want to be out of that little hole. No one wants that shit. I think it's literally a social revolution against cases like Karmelo Anthony getting away with this.
I think are really annoyed. I mean, this is just... It's not acceptable that justice is denied when the races are of a certain tone, when the races are a certain kind. It's just not acceptable. And the black community is not happy about this. For example,
Well, I mean... on the one hand... I don't blame them. But on the other hand, they kind of did it to themselves. I really think almost all instances of like colossal political L's in general comes from people cooking themselves. People put the clown makeup on themselves and people don't like when you call them clowns. I really think that's almost every single time. It's the wild amounts of fucking retarded shit that's pulled in like the trans community, for example, in regards to child sex change operations. When you see that happen, it radicalizes you. It does. As it should, because to be honest, child sex change operations is completely unjust in every possible way. There is no possible defense of some shit like that. So when you see that happening, it cooks the entire community. I think that the majority of people would be like, live and let live if you want to do whatever you want to do to yourself. But you get the children involved and it's like, it's over. And then they'll literally go against the entire party and the entire community and the entire movement. And I really feel like that's every single time. Like, I think that's kind of what happened with like feminism too. Feminism, I think, started as like a noble movement of giving women equal rights to men and stuff like that. And absolutely, that's awesome. I believe in women's rights and stuff like that. But I also believe in women's wrongs. So I actually believe women should be treated equally to men and not get some sort of extra super legitimacy in the social media zeitgeist and stuff like that. And in regards to shit like that, I think the biggest form of radicalizing people is literally, when people take a movement that might begin with fair and just ideals and literally drive it off a fucking cliff with absolute retarded bullshit. For example, if Kyle Rittenhouse defends himself by killing a guy that's trying to kill him, and you are defending the guy that tried to kill him, then you are racist and you don't care about equality. And it's just gonna radicalize more people.
Let's have a listen to this.
And you guys raised $250,000 for her?
So it's like, it's definitely a crash out moment, but if this person supported riots after George Floyd died, then it's literally this person's fault.
I am beyond disturbed. White people should not be forced to live among monkeys.
A racist on the internet? No! Look at her just freaking out. Dude, hey, let me introduce you to a little thing called social media algorithms. I think every single person goes online and sees unbelievable racist shit toward themselves. Listen, I'm Jewish. I open Twitter. Half of my timeline is saying we should kill Jews. All right? The #1 political streamer on Twitch currently is advocating for Hamas terrorists that charter is to kill Jews. Like, this isn't shocking. It's not surprising. And then you go to the far right-wing people like Candace Owens, and she is constantly talking about how Jews invented fucking dinosaurs to trick Christians into believing that, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, you get a wild ride on both sides. Absolutely. Welcome to social media. It'll radicalize you. It does, because it'll show you the shit that'll get you to react to that shit. So, I don't know. Freaking out over a racist comment online really seems like an overreaction, because Welcome to online. Not saying it's okay, but that's life.
Black fragility is getting pretty tiring. Sometimes to be accurate, you have to use unpleasant speech. White advocacy. I want to say that I'm shocked. But I'm not shocked, I'm angry.
Nope!
Okay. I mean, again, I'm sorry.
Don't want you to be angry or anything. Obviously, that's bad, but welcome to real life.
This man...
It sucks. Real life sucks sometimes. But this guy murdered a guy and basically got unwavering support for it from certain communities on the internet.
Murdered someone. This man obviously went looking for trouble.
Nux, I think that's a you thing. I never saw a Let's Kill Black People tweet on my feed, mostly VTubers. Yeah, that's fair. I do see Let's Kill Jewish People tweets on my feed. So maybe that's just me. Maybe you're right.
And murdered
She has no right to be angry? Of course she has a right to be angry. Everyone has a right to be upset when they see shit that, you know, that they take as bad, obviously. I think absolutely she has a right to be angry. I think if she looked at it logically and looked at the perspective that the social movement was coming from as a whole in response to something like this, you know.
And in response, he raised $500,000 with many comments like this.
Yep, that's fucked up.
Whereas she said a word that, don't get me wrong, I don't think that she should be calling a 5-year-old child the N-word.
I'm with him.
A 5-year-old child...
Absolutely. You should at least wait until the child's at least like 12 or 13 until you start whipping that shit out, you know what I'm saying?
Often is not...
That was a joke. I have to make sure... Oh, God. Sarcasm is my biggest enemy, I've noticed. You know how many clips I've seen of me just floating around when I'm obviously... All right.
Not very well socialized. A lot of the time they do things that they shouldn't do. And sometimes they do things they know they shouldn't do, and they do them anyway. Trust me, I know. So I don't think that her response was in isolation reasonable. And I don't think she should have done it. But that doesn't mean I'm going to condemn people who, in a wider context, understand that there's something greater going on here. Again, like, sorry, it was just speech. This was a murder, and it's hardly unique. It's hardly alone in the dynamics of it. And man, there were loads and loads and loads of people like this. There was a thread, in fact, of it. Where have I got? Yeah, there we go.
By the way, I just opened Twitter, like randomly. I just opened Twitter, and I shit you not. Let me show you the Let me show you the fucking Let me show you the tweet that popped up. Prayers go out to Israel. I saw the fires and it's devastating. Please, God, burn it to the ground. You know what I'm saying? That's, you know, listen, you open up Twitter and you see some shit. You know, that's what happens. That's what happens. That had 138,000 likes. You know, whatever. It happens, I suppose. But like, that's Twitter. I'm not gonna get upset about it. That some retard said some retarded shit on the internet.
There's just a thread of them.
Why were fires starting everywhere?
Furious.
A lot was arson.
Absolutely furious, and trying to get her deplatformed from Give, Send, Go, who at time of recording have not deplatformed her. So honestly,
dude, if they deplatform her but don't deplatform Karmelo Anthony, it will be fucking chaos. By the way,
I mean, you know, like I said, I don't agree with what she's done, but I can understand that she probably doesn't have a huge amount of money. Probably lives in a rough area. I mean, why else would you be at a park where Somali sex offenders are prowling? And
listen, Somali pedophiles, they don't show up at rich people's parks.
Sorry.
I think it's kind of dumb to do a race-based GoFundMe campaign, and I'm going to support it because I didn't like this other thing. People are just reactionary. What's your point? What's your point? She made $1 million off this shit. What's your point?
You know, this is just too damn bad. Just too damn bad. I mean, again, if the standard wasn't so evidently set by this community, then maybe I would have more of a problem with it. If we didn't see this repeatedly, and this is not the first time, there have been many others. The George Floyd fundraisers were, again, eye-opening. Absolutely eye-opening. That the level of resentment many people in the black community hold towards the white community, even though I don't think the white community in America deserves it.
I'll be honest, I think that it's part of an indoctrination process. I think it's schools in general. They like to teach they teach black people that they're oppressed. You know, even today in modern day society, they teach black people that they're oppressed. They teach white people that they're oppressors. I think it's destructive. It's incredibly destructive to teach that kind of shit. And I think it all needs to be abolished. I think all that entire like race-based curriculum shit needs to get wiped out. It needs to be a work your damn hardest in America and you could fucking cook. That's what needs to be taught. And it's tragic that I feel like it's a large grift for a lot of people to teach shit in that light. But you know, I think that happens a lot for sure. And there's a giant victim mentality for a lot of people, and it's really sad. See, I think that there are a lot of people that do feel like they are the victims, even when in reality they're not the victims. But they feel like they are. Partially because of indoctrination, partially because of society, partially because of upbringing, and you know, it's really fucking sad. And I wish people would get over that mentality.
They're insanely tolerant people generally, and what they're upset about is a lack of tolerance. People have decided that no, we're just going to speak out against what you're doing, and it's driving them mad. How dare you? Well, I mean, how dare you? And so people are pointing out this, and I'm just going to read this from Chad Crowley because I think it does accurately summarize why Shiloh was able to raise so far $750,000.
Damn.
For years, the pattern was held. A white person makes a comment, sometimes crude, sometimes merely unfashionable. The video is clipped, stripped of context, and cast into the digital coliseum. The crowd demands penance. Doxing follows. Then come sponsors, employees, the journalist. The result is always the same: apology, groveling, ruin. This is not justice. It never was. It is a moral spectacle, a purification ritual for the postmodern West.
Damn.
The cleansing agent is white submission. The apology is not meant to be accepted, but to affirm the guilt of the group. The goal is not reconciliation, but re-education, humiliation, and silence. Also catharsis for the black community. But this time, it was the case of Shiloh Hendrix. The script cracked. Her personal details were posted. She received death threats. Her children were targeted, and yet she did not capitulate. She did not appear on camera with a quivering voice and downcast eyes. She launched a fundraiser, and white people responded.
Yeah, I think a lot of people like the idea that specifically she didn't like feel bad and immediately grovel and apologize, and she actually stood up for it, and people were like, holy fuck, I wish I had the balls to do that in face of injustice. And I really feel like a lot of people do feel that way. And honestly, in my opinion, it does come specifically from one side of the aisle seeming to get away with so much more. As a stupid example, and I know this is a really stupid niche example, if you said the N-word on Twitch, you would get banned immediately. If you say white person slurs on Twitch, you can get away with it. To the point that you have a wild amount of people that think you can't be racist to white people, which obviously is fucking retarded if you have a working brain. Now, a working brain debunks that theory very, very well. White privilege does not exist anymore. It's not a real thing. And the moment people realize that, the world will be in a better place. Because on the one hand, white people hate that they are treated like oppressors when they're not. Are Jews white? Depends who you ask. If you ask white people, Jews aren't white. If you ask minorities, Jews are white. It's pretty great. Hell yeah, Schrodinger's white guy.
Not the media, not the institutions, not the credential class, but ordinary white people. Tens of thousands poured in to support her. The platform, GiveSendGo, not GoFundMe, which obviously bans these things, reported over 250,000 raised in days. These were not donations, these were the stirrings of something new. Each dollar said, we see what you're doing and we are done pretending. This is more than the defense of one woman, this is a rejection of the moral framework that made her a target. The Hendrix affair is not the first of its kind, but it is one of the first to end differently. So no apology, no resignation, no collapse, instead resistance. And more than anything else, that signals a shift. Ritual is breaking, and with it the spell of white guilt. And this, I am genuinely annoyed. I mean, I'm just furious, frankly, at the way that, what's-his-face is, the stab man's father was treated. Right? It's just genuinely...
Yeah, the fact that son is killed, forgives killer, kicked out of killer's press conference, swatted, harassed unbelievably. Like, what the fuck? This is savagery. It's literally savagery. Anyone that supports Karmelo Anthony, in my opinion, Tectone Jumpscare, yeah, he just tagged me on a video he posted. Apparently, he posted the video we chatted about Hamas Piker, speaking of Twitch. But, yeah, no, it's crazy. It's absolutely insane. It's insane.
Awful, because he was as contrite over this Karmelo murdering his son as anyone could possibly have been. I mean, he was openly forgiving. Like his the lad's mother was just like, well, I don't want to forgive. And I tell you what, if it was one of my sons, I wouldn't forgive either. But he
as you shouldn't. I think that, look, I respect the forgiving all people concept, but in my opinion, forgiving people that are likely to reoffend is negligent. That's my perspective. Like, I believe in mercy a lot. However, I think that if it's a likely case of reoffense, and let's be honest, a kid stabbing someone, in my perspective, a premeditated murder, just killing someone and getting support because he killed a white guy, in my perspective, forgiving someone like that is dangerous.
He did everything he could.
Mercy upon the cruel is cruelty upon the innocent, for real, for real.
According to the script. He did everything he could, everything he thought he was supposed to do. And he wasn't accepted by the black community. They didn't say we're sorry. They didn't, the family of Karmelo didn't say.
Obviously, all right, so the issue with this context is, obviously there are black people that think that Karmelo Anthony is a piece of shit murderer, all right? I think that's the majority of black people. But the vocal black community on Twitter, from the perspective of everyone else, definitely doesn't seem like they went down that route, and it is radicalizing. It is. It's the loudest retarded voices in every group that make you hate that group.
I'm sorry, we stole your son forever. And so, yeah, people are glad to see when someone's like, you know what, I don't care. I'm not having this. And so, yeah, I mean, I can't bring it myself to condemn this. I'm not, like I said, I don't endorse it at all. I don't think you should be calling anyone the N-word. I don't think that calling children slurs is a good idea either.
Yeah, probably not. Look, I don't believe in offending people in general. You're going to be surprised because I'm sure that my content offends a lot of people. But I specifically target people that are retards, okay? Some people should be offended, but just in general, offending people for no reason. See, my offending people comes with a side dish of justice. You know what I'm talking about?
And honestly, I think the current moral lock that one community has on another in the United States is just wrong. It's just wrong. The same standard should be applied to both. Like, Karmelo should not have been allowed to raise $500,000 on the back of we hate white people, death to white people. That should not be permitted. And you should expect some kind of response.
I do. It's a social response. I think it's a knee-jerk social response. All right. So Sargon made a second video because it's wildly escalating. Apparently there are an unbelievable amount of updates on this retarded shit. People are offended because I'm right. Yeah, that happens a lot. People don't like realizing that society is actually more complicated than their own personal worldview and issues. So anyway, lock in. It gets crazier apparently.
So the case of Shiloh Hendrix is revealing something that I think is quite important for American culture to think about. And I think that Aaron Magruder, the creator of the Boondocks...
someone in my chat just said, me here, black guy, he is 1,000% wrong, making black people look like we're trying to abuse some sort of manufactured privilege, which just makes it hard for racism to die. See, of course, I think that the majority of every group are good people. I do. I really do, personally. But I do think that there are radical people in every group also that make everyone else look bad. Now, there are definitely different... see, I think racial stereotypes aren't all necessarily untrue. Obviously, people from different races grow up in different houses, have different family values, have different societal norms. So obviously, people are going to actually have differences in regards to, you know, the way they view life and the world, okay? Like, I know that in the Jewish family, they want you to study till you drop every day. That's a Jewish stereotype, and it's so true and real, all right? I'm just saying, that's so true. It's just a fact, all right? I don't want to be that guy. However, I have to absolutely recognize the fact that 4% of people in general are psychopaths. And those are going to be the loudest voices on social media.
Summarized it well a few years back when he described it as a lot of earned moral currency that has just all been used up. And I think this really does actually explain what is going on in what has become a kind of dueling GoFundMes with Shiloh Hendrix and Karmelo Anthony. So let's just listen to this for a minute.
Part of why the civil rights movement has been so successful, and part of why those who have come after in terms of our leadership have been able to maintain a presence, is that black people have always had a certain amount of moral currency that we have been using. And let me be the first to tell you, that's used up.
Damn.
White America.
Damn. That neighbor is guilty. Oh, praise the white God. I'm sorry. I just saw he's the creator of the Boondocks, and yeah.
Has been watching us act like fools for a long enough time where any sympathy they may have had to our plight is completely gone.
True.
A
lot of people are like that. Absolutely. There was absolutely racism that definitely existed. There were unfair laws, okay? Blatantly unfair laws that mistreated black people in America many years ago. All right? Absolutely true fact. There are no laws that are like that today. Not one. Zero. Absolutely zero. White privilege is not a real thing. It's not.
A country.
Not anymore.
Forget hating black people or not hating black people. They just don't care. You can be talking about affirmative action. They can be like, I don't care. It literally is of no importance to me. I don't care about slavery. I don't care about segregation. I don't care about you. I don't care how many of you all go to jail. I don't care at all because I'm broke.
So I don't think I mean, I think that for a large portion of white America, he is right on that. I think a lot of them just aren't bothered and are just getting on with their lives and just don't think about it. And the moral currency that the black community in America built up because of the history of slavery was a powerful thing, and I think mostly got spent during the 20th century. And the actions that spent this moral currency, were not great. And I think actually there are moral questions about the general ethical norms of this community that really are worth digging into. I think Aaron is essentially what he's doing in The Boondocks, actually, which is a much bigger conversation that I don't really want to get into now. But I think we can just take it at face value that this is a question of moral currency, because there are lots of people who have decided that actually the acts that spent the moral currency the black community had built up actually expired. The currency is gone, and yet the acts remain, and so the acts are.
I think it's. I don't know who decided that we need to indoctrinate society into feeling this way. Like, first of all, Boondocks fucking goated. Second of all, I didn't watch all of it, but I have to actually sit through it. It's so good. But second of all, there is no real racial privilege anymore today in America. Obviously, there are racist people, specifically as individuals, there are. But as far as society goes, there really aren't any laws that are racist laws. There's nothing preventing people from doing things that other races are kind of allowed to do. I don't understand why society feels the need to crush people into this neo-Marxist lens of oppressed versus oppressor. And it's like that everywhere. It's like, I think it's like it popped out a fucking far left manhole somewhere and it infects people because it's so much easier to look at life as you're a victim, and you're only good if you're not a victim, if you are specifically good to victim. And it's mind-boggling. It's crazy. It's insane. The fact that people are still trying to peddle this as, oh, he killed a white guy, that's a good thing, that is going to radicalize white people into wanting to push back on that. There are DI laws. See, DI is racism, but there is no DI in America anymore. At least there's not supposed to be.
Actually now building up a debt on the part of the black community, and this is the sort of reason why. When a black guy kills a white guy and black people raise him $500,000 with death to the white man attached to their donations, then I think that builds up resentment. I think that builds up a kind of anger that this is a two-tier system.
Especially because it goes viral, and it does look like a two-tier system. It absolutely does look like a two-tier system. Without even a shadow of a doubt. Like, tell me how you can have two identical cases and the black guy gets off easier. That sounds like a two-tier system to me.
This is not fair, and the debt from a lot of white people's perspective was paid long ago and with interest, and so they're not shy about supporting Shiloh Hendrix because of this. And then you get the kind of and
then you get the super woke white people that are hypothetically going to be like, hey, we should not be defending this white person at all because this white person is racist and bad and evil, and we should instead be donating to Karmelo Anthony because he's poor, it's a poor guy, and we have to use our privilege for good. Oh my god, if I watch another Netflix movie talking about using your privilege for good, I'm gonna fucking kill myself.
Bourgeois, snooty, looking down the nose perspective, which is, well, she's white trash. It's like, okay, maybe, but she's still part of their tribe, and so it doesn't really matter if she's white trash. What matters to people is the fact that this is a racial issue that is born out of the history of America. And it's not that there shouldn't be moral currency that comes out of slavery. It's just that shouldn't be parlayed into...
Yeah, there's no slavery anymore in America. So therefore... move on. You gotta move on. People don't like that. People like having the extra check. See, I don't wanna... You know, I'm not gonna use any other stereotypes. I'll use my own stereotype. Your life is important. Yeah, don't worry. I'm not actually gonna kill myself if I watch a Netflix movie where someone says they have to cash in white privilege. Okay, chill out, bro. Don't worry. That was hyperbolic 100%. I love my life and I'm not planning on killing myself. If I do die under mysterious circumstances, it was Candace Owens. That was a joke. That was a joke. All right. Anyway, the point that I'm trying to make here. The point that I'm trying to make here is the point that I'm trying. Fuck. The point that I'm trying to make here is, I don't even remember the point that I'm trying to make anymore. Now you got me all on the fucking kill myself thing.
The ability to act in morally abhorrent ways and then find yourself with a very large, very well funded, and very powerful group of backers that will cover up for this kind of behavior. And so people are just like, you know what? I don't care. I don't care if she's a single mother, a meth head, a sex worker, or whatever. I don't care. That's not what this is about. Now, I did see that Shiloh had posted a message to someone saying, no, I'm not a single mother. I've got a husband or a boyfriend or whatever it is. We've got 2 kids. He's the father of my children. She was just a mum taking her kids to the park where they were filmed by a Somali alleged sex offender. Because why wouldn't he be hanging out in the park?
This is such a crazy story, bro. How does it keep getting worse?
So I think that it's important to note that, look, for a lot of people, this just doesn't matter. That's not what this is about. And I think that this person actually is saying something true, or at least something they perceive to be true. Every person donating to Shiloh does so remembering their encounter with a misanthropic black individual, be it in businesses, sports, serving them on a bus, on a plane, on a boat, at a store, at a school, at a park, DMV. She just said the quiet part out loud.
All right, so that's obviously wild. But let me be real, though. I think that a lot of people did have an encounter with somebody of a, let's say, minority group, let's say, and they called them out, and they were immediately called racist for doing it. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. I'm sure every single person's been here. Literally. I'll give you an example. I'll give you a fucking great example. I called Hassan Piker out on Twitch for being a fucking terrorist supporter, and he called me Islamophobic. All right? So there we go. Classic example. And people are terrified in experiences where they are wronged by people of a different background or whatever, and they are afraid that they're going to be called racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic, one of the phobes, one of the ists. You're going to label them in some way that social media will harass, dox, and ruin their life over it. And to be honest, I'm going to be real. In a society where shit like that is happening, it is building up behind the scenes an unbelievable tension about it. And people are going to start saying their so-called quiet part out loud as much as they possibly can. Look, I'll give you a real good one. I mean, this literally just happened yesterday. This is a fantastic example. Check this out. There is a historical fact that Arab countries in the Middle East, after 1948, when the state of Israel was established, Arab countries around in the Middle East decided that they hate Jews, and they wanted to expel all their Jews and kill all their Jews and get all the Jews out of all those countries, which is why 900,000 Jews were forced to flee their homes and leave to Israel. So Ethan brings up that historical fact. All right, because people don't like facts anymore. But that historical fact, he brings it up to Hassan. Watch Hassan's response.
Because we were Zionists, we left because we were no longer safe.
Okay.
Explain to me.
I can't wait to bring up obviously on the broadcast to make you fucking look like a dumbass.
I can't wait to. And now explain what he means by that. We did not leave Iraq because we were Zionists. We left because we were no longer safe.
Iraqis are not Palestinian. You fucking moron. You racist piece of shit.
What?
Because Iraq and the pan-Arabic nationalist movements that arise out of
you are out of your mind.
Is not about Palestinians.
Okay, so what did the Jews in Iraq have to do with fucking Israel? You bigot.
Actually fucking
you are so out of your mind.
And then Iraqis.
Dude, you scream.
This is a glorious crash out. I love this so much. Oh my god, it's amazing.
Being a grandstanding doesn't mean you're right.
Iraqi government's racism during the
racism. Anyway, you get the idea I'm trying to make. Now, obviously, this shit's not going to work anymore. I think we have moved past the society where we have moved past the reality that you could just call people racist and get away with it. We are no longer in the year 2020. Like, the soy rage moments do not seem to work anymore. Karen Piker could not get away with that one. But the point that I'm trying to make is, forever, as far as time goes, people were terrified of being the labeled. And this is a quiet part out loud moment where you feel like, wow, we could fight back. If someone's trying to rob you and you call them a racist or whatever. I mean, and you don't even have to look so far. Mr. Sargon of Akkad here is literally from the UK, where there was a woman that was assaulted by a migrant. So she said something, quote unquote, Islamophobic about the migrant that assaulted her. Her prison sentence for being Islamophobic was longer than the prison sentence of the rapist. Okay? When you see something like that happen, it'll radicalize the fuck out of you.
And I think it's hard to say that there isn't a great deal of resentment built up in the black community against white people. I think that's obviously the case. And I think that that's something the black community itself has to deal with.
I think it's indoctrinated almost. It's taught, like for a lot of people, and it's so sad. It really is so sad.
I think white America can get rid of this racial hatred. At some point, the black community has to have a conversation about this, because there are lots of black people who are just very angry about this, and lots of them took to TikTok, and we're inciting violence. Just I hope she gets hurt. I'm going to go and urinate on her grave when someone murders her. Which I mean.
Not a normal reaction at all.
If this was something going against the left, they'd call it stochastic terrorism. And so, actually, she probably is in a degree of danger. And, of course, you have all of the usual race grifters, whose entire careers are built on maintaining this hostile divide between the black and white community in America, and inciting angry and resentful people from within one community to not feel guilty about doing bad things to the other. And they are, of course, politicizing this and saying, well, look, see, this is just what they do. This is how they make America great again. And I'm sorry, I don't think that's helpful at all. And like I said in the first video I did on this, I don't think Shiloh is in the right. I don't think you should be saying ethnic slurs to children, or people, if anyone at all. You might be like, well, that's coming from you, but things change, right?
Listen, maybe sometimes when it's effective, all right, but when it's not effective, oh God.
But like I said before, I'm not going to...
Wait, is this another fake news article? Wait, hold up. Race incident in Rochester involves slurs against a little boy, goes viral, alleged offender has raised. Rochester woman's racist remark gone viral, successful crowdfunding campaign. Why the fuck would they not include the fact that the kid was robbing her? Why would they not include that? If not, to make people angry. The fucking media manipulation is despicable. It's despicable. And also offender, like it's a crime, even though it's probably not a crime, even though it's, I'm not for it. I'm not for calling racial slurs to random kids in the park and shit. But this is a race bait article literally just trying to win. It's trying to win some sort of invisible culture war that'll only make things worse for everyone.
I'm down for it. Because this is not like the original starting point of racism and the issue itself, which I think the author of the Boondocks has accurately pointed out. And so it's not wrong for black people to say, well, look, calling a black child a slur and becoming rich, society is cooked. Well, yeah, that's bad. But murdering a white teenager and also becoming rich, and that happened first, I think the society had some serious problems to begin with.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually think that what Shiloh has done is way worse than what Karmelo has done. Sorry, the other way around.
Yeah, the other way around. Yeah, I was tripping there for a second. Absolutely.
Karmelo has done is way worse than what Shiloh has done. And again, I think the way that the black community responded to that is way worse than the way that these white people.
I completely agree.
To Shiloh.
Because the actual crimes were like on a complete other level.
I mean, yeah, I agree. The society is cooked, but like, who was putting up?
The crazy thing is, even like, I'll be real here. If you look at just what I perceive to be the majority of people, I think that most black people are against Karmelo, just like I think most white people don't say you should start calling racial slurs to black kids in parks. I absolutely think that's still the majority of both people, but it's the extremist voices that are definitely going to get most picked up. And the extremists in the black community that are supporting a murderer obviously look way fucking worse than the extremists in the white community. Support a girl saying things that would get her in trouble for so long, but she's getting away with it because we are so back, Americans, or whatever the methodology is. Like, it's a complete other perspective.
And a friendship first, right, is the question. Which community is it that nurtures the deepest race grievance against the other? and this actually...
Obviously, it used to be black people, very legitimately, but as the years went on, and it's really seemed like a two-tier justice system really started feeling like it crept in. Even the fact that Karmelo's not in jail right now. In my opinion, he murdered a white kid, premeditated murder, in cold blood for no reason. And he's out on bail and made hundreds of thousands of dollars. I hate to be rude here, man. That is radicalizing as fuck.
Demands a bit of introspection.
It doesn't just mean that the loud people that supported Karmelo Anthony are bads, are just baddies, that they are extremists. The fucking judge, the system is rigged against the white people. That's how it looks. And to be honest, that's how it is in many cases, if that's what happened. You know, so when you see something like that, it is radicalizing as fuck.
I mean, on the part of both communities. But I think if there's one...
I mean, I just showed you the clip of Ilhan Omar saying that we need to look into and, you know, invade the privacy of white people to figure out what radicalizes them.
Thing you can't say is that
And again, people don't like statistics, but I'll give you a statistic that I'm going to make sure is true before I say it. Yep, that's right. I was about to do a stupid... All right, hold on, let me see. Yeah, all right. So, you know what? I am going to bring it up because it is a true fact. Apparently, according to the FBI data from 2018, the most recent detailed breakdown available, 88.9% of black homicide victims in the U.S. were killed by black offenders, while 8% were killed by white offenders. So, when you have a statistic like this that exists, it just makes it so much harder to justify the vilification of white people as the #1 evil crimes and oppressors of black people ever. You know, like it's fucking tragic. It's awful. It's unbelievable. But this situation, this like little race war that's building up in America, it is dangerous, bro. It is dangerous.
Whites community in America hasn't tried to be anti-racist enough. They definitely have, and all that did was allowed race grifters...
See, but that's the problem. The problem is, I agree you should be anti-racist, but anti-racist doesn't mean giving the formerly oppressed people an edge over the formerly oppressor people. That is not anti-racism. That is just racism. Again, you just flipped the switch. It's... Dude. Racism against white people is racism. Just like sexism against men is sexism. It literally is. And, dude, the solution isn't just giving more rights to women than men, or more favorable treatment in courts to black people than white people. You gotta be fucking even with that shit, or it's just gonna make everyone on the other side rise up.
From within your own community to pour hatred about white people on a daily basis without it being policed. So that now there are black people saying, look, I just hope she's murdered. And it's like, that's a bit extreme, Dave.
That's insane.
But also, it's something that might actually happen, which is not good. So, the reason I say all of this is because it's not like there aren't black people who say something very similar. They're aware of the crime rates. And we'll just watch this video by a black chap who moved to a white neighborhood, and he can tell us why.
I don't know what black people talk about. Our neighborhoods are safe. You want to go live next to, you want to go shopping at some black businesses? Go ahead. I'm black. I live here. Okay? I live in this HOA protected community. My neighbor over here, he just got the $80,000 truck the other night. I'm not worried about it because he knows we all got guns here. We'll pull some shit out on your ass. You walk up over here looking like you don't belong.
God damn.
Why the fuck would I want to live in a ghetto? You out your goddamn mind? I don't feel safe around my own people. Are you fucking kidding me? Never. I live in white America because this is where I'm safe. I'm safe here. Have a good day. Fucking black unity.
God damn!
So the whole point he's making is, well, you can make any kind of appeal to the tribe that you like. Everyone has a tribe, just to be clear. But the virtues of the tribe have to warrant one's attachment to it as well. It's not just that, oh, well, they're one of ours. And this is what is underpinning the calling Shiloh white trash. That's people in the other tribe saying, well, I don't really want to stick my neck out for her because she doesn't really measure up to my standards.
Damn.
And I don't want to end up essentially like them. And so it's not wrong to say that it is basically the same thing, right? It's both sides now doing it. But what did you expect?
That is crazy.
Did you expect that one side would have an infinite supply of moral currency to do this destructive, and engage in this destructive pattern of behavior.
Obviously not. Like, you go explain to a white kid that didn't get into college because he's white, and they filled their quota of white people in that college, so he didn't get into that college, but a black guy with worse scores on their test did get into that college instead of him. You explain to him that this isn't racism. He will not get it. And living in society that is built on, you know, reverse racism, which is just racism again. Like, obviously, that shit is gonna push back also. Like, it's insane. And honestly, I do think that almost every single time, it is every individual group that goes too far and gets the pendulum to swing again.
Forever, until the other side didn't respond. I mean, I think that's just wishful thinking, at best, to be honest. And I don't know how to properly have this conversation with Americans, but I can definitely see it as an outsider, right? Anyway, so Jacob Wells of GiveSendGo, co-founder, said, look, we've disabled the comments on the fundraising campaigns of Karmelo Anthony and Shiloh Hendrix because there is an unacceptable volume of racist and derogatory remarks. Now, he hasn't deleted the fundraisers, right, which I think is an interesting decision.
I mean, to be honest, if there's nothing illegal with putting the fundraisers up, then why take it down?
To make, because it would actually be easier for them to deplatform. It would avoid making this a nexus of the racial conflict that clearly underpins a lot of American society. But he hasn't done that. What he's done is decided that it would be better just to try and mitigate the amount of racism. Now, it is fair for people to point out that this is a double standard, because when it was Karmelo Anthony's campaign, he said, look, I don't like these either, which I'm sure he doesn't, obviously. But there's a little thing called free speech, and it's actually important in our country. You should have seen the comments from the other
sucks to be in England
campaigns, blah, blah, blah. And for this one, of course, he disabled it. But he disabled them both. And I think he probably does have a commitment to free speech, obviously. And I think that it's not actually about double standards here for him. I think it's about the worry that this becomes a nexus from which something bigger grows.
Absolutely.
And he's put on the horns of a dilemma, and it's not an easy one to come to a good conclusion on. Anyway, so the Karmelo Anthony Fund is at $521,000, and Shiloh's one is $557,000. And people are saying, look, we've beaten them. Isn't that good? Well,
this is crazy. It is crazy that there is literally a fucking arms race where the race in arms race is short for racist. This is mind-boggling, bro. Oh my god, there is like actual competitive racism going on right now.
I mean, if you look, Anonymous gave 15 minutes ago, 23 minutes ago, 32 minutes ago, 1 hour ago, 1 hour.
Bro! Yeah, kill whites. Seems like a generous man.
Hour ago. This fundraiser had basically run out of steam until this began.
This is PewDiePie versus T-Series all over again. Oh my god, this is more of a race war than the tariff war that Trump has with China. Like, this is this oppression Olympics. Oh my god, dude. Ranked competitive racism. Like, this is insane. We need to get a fucking ranked race ladder for this GoFundMe site. Honestly, for real. Again, I support the chaos. I do not support fucking what the hell? I don't even know what's happening, bro. This is crazy. And this is obviously not at all gonna be good. This is not gonna end well, literally at all. However, god damn, it's entertaining. Holy shit.
And so now the black community
can't look away from this train wreck
in competition with the Shiloh one. And it's become a kind of, again, dueling fundraiser.
See, in my opinion, it's literally, this is a social conversation that's being had. And the fact that we're talking about it right now means it's a conversation that is picking up steam. Absolutely, 100%. Now, I would never donate to either fundraiser personally. I have much better uses for my money. But it is crazy to watch this actually happen on like a world scale. It's a relatively silent fundraiser that is not directly competing with each other. However, the social commentary is, we have been oppressed for too long, and it's both sides screaming that. And this is gonna be fucking crazy.
Now, to be honest with you, I suspect that both Karmelo and Hendrix themselves have no doubt they need the money. I mean, actually, no, Karmelo probably doesn't need the money. But
well, fuck Karmelo. He's a murderer. I don't give a shit.
But I'm skeptical about just giving your money, and people have given quite a lot of to random people to whom viral flashpoints have happened.
Yeah, I'm
personally not encouraging this. Again, I'm not going to condemn anyone who has or anything like that, but I just don't think this is entirely wise. And I mean, obviously, only ever donate money if you can afford to donate money in the first place. But so you've got, again, with Shiloh's fundraiser, people still very much fundraising in the moment now. And so you can see that this it's not going away. One community isn't giving way to another. And people are taking a victory lap saying, look, we've beaten the Karmelo Anthony one, we've outraised them, isn't that good? But I think people didn't realize that, because I go on Blue Sky.
Wait,
to see
what?
The word in the woke spheres.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me. It got worse. There is no way they're doing a fundraiser for the 5-year-old kid. You have got to be kidding me.
And they have this fundraiser at GoFundMe, which is help us seek racial justice for a 5-year-old facing racial hate. And they've got the picture of Shiloh there, and the NAACP are raising this money.
You've got to be kidding me.
Autistic 5-year-old. I'm sure that's not an actual picture of him, who she insulted. And so you can see
crazy.
This is getting lots of donations now and has raised $330,000.
Oh my God!
If this is
Oppression Olympics for real,
a unitary ledger, then, well, to beat Karmelo and this one, you would have to raise about $850,000. And again, I'm not suggesting that you do give Shiloh another $300,000.
It's a fascinating. I mean, obviously, it's a little scary that this shit is obviously picking up steam, and obviously, this is definitely going to cause more racial tension. It is fascinating though to watch this chaos fucking unfold.
The $500,000 plus that she's been given will probably be sufficient. But this speaks to a much deeper issue in American society, and honestly, it would be nicer if cooler heads prevailed, but of course that's not going to happen.
No, this is on the internet where the loudest voice prevails. Absolutely.
And it would be nice if an honest conversation about the subject could be had.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
And I don't know if that's going to happen.
It won't.
Either.
It won't happen. It won't happen unless it literally gets way worse. Yo, that was really good. It's a really, really interesting topic. I wanted to end with a little point that I wanted to make from my personal experience. My grandparents are Holocaust survivors. They all immigrated after the Holocaust to Canada/America. After the Holocaust, they came to the countries with nothing, and they made something of themselves. They worked their asses off. They both they have families. I have a lot of cousins. Thank God. I'm super grateful to God for helping me with everything, helping my family, helping them survive, helping them come here. And realistically, we busted our asses and we made something of our families. And obviously that's not the case for everyone. You can't just say, well, you work hard and everything will go well for you. Unfortunately, shit sucks for a lot of people. But realistically, that was the mentality of everyone that I knew growing up. And, just speaking from that perspective, people hated Jews for a very long time, especially during the Holocaust. Realistically, the race baiters are eating good right now, and I will keep making content on the chaos, so definitely subscribe for future insanity, future crazy. However, lock in for the chaos. It's only gonna get crazier as time goes on, and I want to be real here for a second. Racism bad, but not as bad as murdering people. Stay weird, fam. Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, fam.